Hey, what's up guys? This is Jeff PELIZZARO from 18 Strong, and today we're going to talk about some exercises for all of you guys and girls that are over 50. I've gotten a lot of questions about this through the podcast, through our emails, Jeff, what should I do? I'm not quite as young as I used to be. My body's not working quite as well as I used to be. What would you recommend for the guy or girl that's over 50 for, improving my golf game, but also just improving the way that I move and feel on the golf course? So I put together just a list of 6 simple exercises, but these are exercises that you really should be pretty good at, and they're going to help in many different fashions, many different ways. So the first one that we're going to do is going to be on the ground, kind of an all-fours position. And the idea is to really concentrate on your trunk, your core, and teaching you how to brace, but also create some movement and create some stability, as well as some rotation in your body. So this one, you're going to be on kind of a hands and knees position. We call this the bird dog, and we call it that. You'll see why, because it looks like a dog pointing out, the birds. But you're going to take your shoulders, square them off, your hips, square them off, and I want a nice flat back position. And then you're going to really work on creating some stability in all those places where you're not rotating all over the place. So then I'm going to take my leg, I'm going to stick it out, I'm going to take my arm and I'm going to stick it out. And first I'm just going to see if I can get balance. And then once you're balanced, I want you to try to come in and touch your knee to your elbow. And then come back out. I want you to pause here, get that balance again, and then come all the way back in. So we're working on a little bit of rotation stuff. We're working on a lot of stability here, a lot of balance, which I find issues with a lot of the golfers that I work with. So then you're going to just switch sides. You're going to do the same thing. Just holding a position there. Really kind of squeezing your glutes, keeping the hips nice and level. Again, coming all the way in to touch. You might find that you can't touch the elbows to the knees just yet, but that's something I want you to work on and just continue to push. Whether you get there ever is not that big of a deal. As far as your motion, though, I want you to just keep working on improving and working on your balance and your stability there. So that's one of them. And you can do that, 10 times in a row on each side, and you can do that 3 sets. This is one that you could really kind of do every day or a couple times a week. And that's going to go for all of these. These are just more general movements that I want you to really get good at. So the second one is going to be what I call prone swimmers. This one, you're going to be on the ground. Normally I would roll up a towel or something to rest your forehead on. And then you're just going to work on your shoulders. And it looks like a swimming motion. So in order for you to not hear a muffled microphone, I'm going to show you the exercise first, and then I'll kind of explain it. So I'm just kind of going in a big swimming fashion. It almost looks like a butterfly stroke. Hands are coming up, then I'm going back behind my head. So I'm just going through that full motion of the shoulders, kind of starting with that position here to make sure that I can reach back, and then I'm going all the way. As I'm down there, I'm kind of reaching up towards the ceiling as I reach back and then try to reach up behind my back. So that's going to work on the shoulder joint itself, the shoulder blades. It's also going to work on kind of that postural position, because we all tend to kind of get so rounded out there. All right, the third one is probably one that you've heard of, you've done before, I'm sure, is the plank. But I want to show you how to do the plank properly. The plank is going to be one of the best exercises for creating stability in your trunk, but also shoulder blades, lats, and all these different areas, your glutes. So when you get on the ground, I want you to start out, make sure that your forearm is not rotated in like this. So I see a lot of folks doing planks like this, and then just kind of lift up. So we're going to be way more diligent on how we do this. We're going to get the elbow kind of tucked in by your body. I want you to almost rotate your hands a little wider than your elbow if you can, and that's going to put a lot of stress here on the shoulders. And then get your feet in position. You're going to squeeze your thighs first, and you're going to see when I squeeze my thighs, it pulls my knees off the ground. And then from there, I'm going to squeeze my butt, and then I'm going to pull myself up from there. And as soon as I come up in the air, I'm squeezing everything I got. I'm squeezing my fists, I'm squeezing my butt, I'm squeezing my thighs, tightening up my abs, and I'm feeling myself shaking almost from the get-go. So a real plank is not something you should be able to hold for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever. A real plank, if you're squeezing everything and really tensing up, if you go for a full minute, I think that's a pretty darn solid plank. So I'd start out, work on building the intensity of it first, and maybe if you go 10, 20, 30 seconds, that's a good place to start. Then from there, as kind of a hybrid of that, you can also go onto your side and do the side plank. So here, I'm going to lock down my elbow. It's right under my shoulder. I've got my feet on top of each other. And then I'm going to squeeze my thighs. I'm going to squeeze my butt. I'm going to keep my chest up. And I'm going to come right up here, trying to get my head in a nice straight line with my body. And then this is really lighting up the whole side here. So this is going to be a great exercise for your trunk, your shoulder, stability here. So again, just holding right there. I'd say start that one 20 seconds, 30 seconds, right around there. If that's a little too hard for you with that foot position, you can also bend your knees and start on the knees. That's a really good place to start. If you have any back issues, this is, as long as it doesn't give you any pain, this is a great exercise. Both of these two here, the plank and the side plank, are phenomenal exercises to create some of that core stability. All right, next one we're going to go into is the split squat. And the split squat it's funny, I see so many people in here, and this goes for my junior golfers, this goes for my guys in their 30s, and then my golfers 50 and above. I find a lot of people have trouble with the split squat. And the split squat simply is, one foot in front of the other. So this is a split stance. And then the split squat is going down into this position. Kind of, it looks like what a lot of people would call a lunge, going into this position and coming back up. Where many people have trouble is, first, just the balance. So I know that balance is often an issue in people's swing, but also just in general. So this is a great exercise to improve your balance, but also to improve your bodies and your hips, your ability to move through these different motions. Keeping a nice good posture, staying tall, coming down here, you'll probably feel a good stretch in the front of the thigh here. And I like to see this knee pushing forward a little bit as long as that heel can stay on the ground. So wherever you can go to with that heel on the ground, whether that's here or here, I like to see this forward a little bit. Don't be afraid to let that knee forward. I know you've probably been told don't let your knee go in front of your toes. But as long as you can keep that heel down, you can let your knee go in front there. And then eventually you can grab some dumbbells. And there's all kinds of variations which you'll see in eventual videos here on 18 Strong of ways that you can change up the split squat. But getting good at that one, you're going to first improve your lower body strength, but also that balance that's so key. And you're going to see there might be a difference between your right side and your left side, and so we got to try to balance those out as well. All right, there's 2 more exercises here. The next one is the one-legged hinge or one-legged deadlift. So eventually this could be done with weights, but first I want you to get comfortable with just being able to be on one leg and hinging into this position. So kind of that, we call it that teeter-totter, the tipping bird. So right here, nice flat back. Notice the leg is pushed that way, kind of pushing the heel backwards. This glute is tightened up, but most of this is on this front leg. So the more you can balance, again, we're working on that balance piece. Coming here and coming back up. you're teaching your body how to properly hinge into that golf stance. So this one, hinging forward, hinging back. You could do this with a light PVC pipe, a broomstick, whatever. You could do it with dumbbells. But just getting that motion first and foremost is ideal. If you can't do it just standing there, grab something to hold on to and then just work on that piece. This is one that my guys that have tight hamstrings love this one because they can really feel that the glute and the hamstrings getting that stretch and being activated in this motion. So it's probably a motion that you haven't felt if you've never done that one before. All right, and then the last one I've got is learning how to rotate in a half kneel position. The reason I like this is, first you can, if you want to, you can brace yourself up against something. So this ankle, say this is a door frame or squat rack, whatever you got, right there. That's going to kind of lock that leg in and help us with this internal rotation of the hip, which is a lot like finishing off your golf swing, right? But where I see so many people complain about the game of golf really is that it bothers their back. And some of that comes from not being able to stabilize the trunk, the lower body, and purely rotate well from the rib cage. So right here, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to kind of tighten my left cheek, kind of tightens up my abs, flattens out my back a little bit, and it locks down my lower spine. Your lower spine really shouldn't rotate. So your lower spine is a flex. It mainly flexes and extends. When we rotate, we're rotating from up here, and we're rotating from our hips. So this kind of locks that in, and then I'm just going to work on rotating this way. And I'm going to let my pelvis turn a little bit, but I'm not going to let this knee flop around. And you can go both ways. You can turn this way, and you might even get a nice good stretch on that hip. And then you can also, keeping that trunk engaged, rotate the other way too. And you're going to feel those shoulder blades and that upper back working really well in that rotational pattern. So again, you can go this way. I like to keep the elbows straight so you know that it's not just you bending your arms around. And then come back around this way. Just like so. I'm feeling a little stretch here, but I'm not feeling any torsion in my lower back. I've got that locked down. I'm rotating up here. I'm rotating here. So I know that was a lot to go through in one video. Rewind it, go back and watch them again. But those are 6 exercises that I love to use with my population of golfers that are over 50 because they're motions that I think your body should be able to do. And if they can't, you know that that's the stuff that you need to work on. So if you guys like these videos, you're getting benefit from them, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're going to have a lot more content coming out. And don't forget to go check out the 18 Strong podcast over at 18strong.com.